Namaste. My name is Ilona Selke. I'm an internationally best-selling author of books on consciousness and how our consciousness is interactive with reality. How we can make changes not by wishful thinking, not by evading it through meditation onto the oblivion of reality, but how we actually integrate our emotional body with our mental and spiritual self into living here so we can create the heaven on earth that is perfect for us. And I will bring you hands-on techniques today that you can practice. I've been teaching this for the last 35 years worldwide, and we have courses in Chinese, Czechoslovakian, German, English, French, and Spanish. And we have books out in these languages, and I will show you some of the books that I will reference to today. And I'll do it right now, because that way we have the books in the front, and you can write down the titles if you want to reference the books, and later on read about the techniques. They are mentioned and described in the books. One of my books that did explain the nature of consciousness really well and is really fun to read and has been a fabulous bestseller is called Wisdom of the Dolphins. And in it I describe not only how we create the reality with our consciousness, but how we have telepathic and multidimensional relationships with dolphins in this particular case. And I will teach you these steps that I write about in these books, so you, by the end of this 1.5 hour workshop, will have tangible tools to where you can access your inner dimensions and create the changes by integrating that which is difficult, heavy, challenging emotionally, not by eliminating it, but by integrating it. And I will show you how you can dive deep, and I will guide you on an exercise that where you can take an issue and problem in your life and feel tangible results by integrating what Dwaba might call integrating the shadow, what she integrates, what she's worked on with her children, integrating it into her curriculum to make her children not just visionaries and knowing that they can reach something extraordinary. The children here from Ramana's garden, in honor of which I am giving this workshop today. I'm very grateful to have been invited here, and the Giving Back Summit is my way of giving back a little bit, monetarily of course as well, but to help everybody here on earth create a better life. Because collectively, you, me, everybody together, when we start holding and resonating resolved issues in our field, the very thing that Dwaba teaches the children as well in the school, when we resolve our negative beliefs, such as I'm not capable, or I got hurt, or I have negative imprints, when we resolve them by addressing them and learning to love them and seeing the potential within it, we lose the fear of the darkness. We lose the fear of that which is difficult. And we then make it our stepping stones into the next expression of the higher dimension of our higher self here in this what appears to be one solid reality. The other book I wrote is Dream Big, the Universe is Listening. And alone that concept, right? Dream big, whatever it is that you feel is your next bigger step. It's not necessarily about a castle, although it may be, but it is about who you are. The universe is listening. The universe is a force that's interactive with us. When we learn to clean our pipeline, we are in touch. And I'm going to walk with you through the techniques that I describe in those two books. The third book that I recommend, another book that is really great if you're into soulful relationships, it's called Dolphins, Love and Destiny. But the other book that I used with the children at Ramana's garden might be of help if you want to get just a children's book. It has audios with it, which describe step by step of how to address in yourself or maybe with children around you the negative emotions and then turn them into powerful allies. Then that book is for you, and it's called Alan Learns to Use His Imagination. It's out in French, German, Polish, Russian, Hindi, and we worked with the children at Ramana's garden with it, and the children there already know and understand, and children in general understand, that the inner world is mobile. So let me give you some stories first to demonstrate the quantum dimension of reality. I'll give you some understanding of how consciousness is interactive with matter. And then I'll guide you through a technique that you can use. I'll give you a short version of a technique and then the longer version that you can practice again and again with this video if you'd like. And if you want to follow up with anything, my website, of course, has the resources, ilonaselke.com. So, firsthand, I want to share you a story where I started and how I got to this technique and why I have held on to it for 35 years. I was in my early 20s after having studied comparative religion and decided that meditation truly is a better way to answer my questions of what am I here for? The higher dimensions of consciousness are not to be understood in theories of isness, but in the silence and communion with the divine. And it will start answering your questions when you start asking. It's about ascending. Meditating is calming us down, ascending in the gamma frequencies with your consciousness until you start being aware of being one with all. In that state, I asked God, offer me a technique or a method of psychotherapy that truly works miracles. And within half a year, I wound up in a lecture. My husband and I were attending a psychotronics conference. We are involved in amazing work where, again, with machines now, you can imprint information into seeds and make seeds grow without fertilizers. I sat in the lecture hall and listened to Dr. Vernon Wolf. And he said, celebrate if you have difficulties. Dance at the ceiling. You can dip your cup into the ocean of consciousness and make your choice. I was riveted. And I described this story and how I learned about this amazing technique called holodynamics, developed by Dr. Vernon Wolf. He's now in his upper 80s. Back when I was in my 20s. And I knew this was the answer. And I started practicing it. And as I learned and then signed up to do his master's program, I was an assistant in a seminar. And I remember this one particular session. I want to share this with you because you might relate and it might give you hope or give you insight into how one single session can unravel for the positive your entire ground that you stand on and create the new stepping stone for your evolution. So there was this man, a successful businessman and manager at Boeing in Seattle. We were in Seattle. I live with my husband on an island north of Seattle, on an island in a geodesic dome. Right now I'm talking to you from Bali, from our retreat center here called Shambhala in Bali. We were attending and co-teaching this seminar, and I was having to help those unfortunate that didn't get a partner. So this nice Boeing, actually, rather in the upper food chain, brought his family, a rather heavy-set wife who had the most horrible visions, had closed the curtains of her house, ready to die, and the son, who was in his mid-20s, who had unwashed hair, reeked, and that's why he didn't get a partner, and I got to sit with him and be his coach. So I'm having him go through the processes that I'm going to share with you. And it's also described step by step in my children's book, Alan Learns to Use His Imagination. I'm telling you this not to make a big buck. The children's books are cheap. It's for you to get step-by-step guidance of how you can dip into the quantum field and peer what seems to be difficult to understand laws of reality aside, because this works. So I went, we had some exercises to do, like childhood memories and this and that. This was in relationship to money. And he recalls he had a piggy bank, and the piggy bank filled up, but routinely his dad, or stepdad, I think at the time it was, I think it was his dad, uncle took his piggy bank and robbed it to buy cigarettes for himself. Now, it was very traumatic for him as a child, and it left the feeling that it is of no use to save money. His real life looked like this: unemployed, no money, smoking dope, being unmotivated. Understandable maybe because some bad childhood experience. We took that moment and transformed the piggy bank negative experience, which to him felt like a heavy burden in his stomach that felt like having been punched. We took it, communicated with it, and asked it. And these are my 3 magic words I'm going to share with you today that you can take into your daily life to bring your spirituality into your physical life. What do you really want? You ask your outer manifestation, what do you really want? If it's not becoming, you just treat it as though it's a messenger that innately has the desire to share its nuggets of gold. And this young man said, well, he wanted to have gold nuggets. And gold bars were the answer to him having power in his life, not being overpowered, the ability to save and be of value. So a gold bar was his representation. When we were done, he had taken the anger and the frustration he had gotten from having been overpowered by his father, taken advantage of, lost all his little nuggets to an adult, into having this gold bar. Who am I to say what a gold bar is? Maybe it's a good messenger. We integrated it into his subconscious, a technique of where you just create a meeting place of all mature energy forms. See, we took the immature impression and transformed it into its higher desire, its next highest level, to be empowered, to be strong, to be capable of producing value. And we had it meet with his higher self, and that was the end of that. A year later, the same family came back. The mother had opened the curtains, had in her seminar decided her mission was to bring mythologies into Russia and learn from their mythologies, which she did. And magically she created, at that time it was still the Cold War and it was the late 80s, she was invited by Russian dignitaries at a dinner meeting where she least expected anything, because her vision had been to go to Russia, and she was invited to share her myth creation stories, which she took from the seminar and brought to Russia. And her son had started working as a truck driver, had decided to go into night school, work to evolve to the next level, and stopped smoking dope and was starting to save money. He now was a being that was starting to take his life back into his own hands. Now you may say, what does that have to do with me? I'm not really that far out. This is just to illustrate how a piggy bank experience in childhood, which we all may have had a negative impression, can transform, and that's the single story that he transformed, into his life changing, his outlook changing, his mother changing, everybody in his world changing who did their own homework. Now, in my book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening, I was asked by Jack Canfield to include the story in his book, The Big Secret, which I co-authored with this story that I'm going to tell you. Another form, and this may then give you the breadth of understanding of emotions and thoughts, how they impact reality, with which then I invite you to create your own miracles. I was flying to Florida and teaching with my husband and myself a seminar on swimming with dolphins and consciousness, interactive reality, being telepathic and swimming with wild dolphins. We were on our way from Seattle to Washington, and in Washington we would have had to switch our planes and go to Miami and then take a car. On the way to Washington, we found out we had bad weather. We circled around Dulles Airport and couldn't land. We were diverted to Baltimore, and it showed it on the little screen in front of us, diverted, 777, some of these little videos. Baltimore is our new destination. So we're on our way to Baltimore, and we are going to then, as the pediatrician tells me next to me, who does this trip every summer, going to be downloaded into a bus, shuttled back to D.C., then we have to reschedule and shuttle and find a new flight. And he said, forget arriving to your seminar tomorrow. It's always bad when a doctor says it's bad prognosis, right? Those men in the white suits seem to know it all. But believe me, I decided that I'm going to apply my quantum reality shifting. I was reading a book, Time Shift. So I'm sitting there going, something's going to change. We're not going to have to go through all this. I'm arriving in time for my seminar. So I'm going to ask you. One, we may have piggy bank stories ourselves that have started in the past. But you may find yourself in the present and think the train where you're headed is not headed in the right direction. And you wish to arrive in a different destination, like in my case, the airplane. You shift your focus to where you want to go. Shift your attention to where you want to go. So you know where you want to be. But it still then requires going within and diving into the parts of you that are feeling encumbered, negative, hurt, angry, or frustrated. And that's what I did. I talked with my inner anxiety about not arriving on time for my class seminar. And asked that negative feeling that was in my belly. It's like a turning reddish color that I took out and said, what do you really want? Remember those 3 magic words. Apply them with children or any of your negative emotions and you'll be surprised. Ask them what it really wants. And guess what this turning feeling really wanted? Yes, arrive on time. No. So this is an important part because it teaches us that no matter how negative something appears, a negative emotion does not need to be eliminated, repressed, evaporated, manipulated. No. You ask that negative feeling what it is really wishing. And then you ask, what would that feel like if you already arrived at the destination? Because we are constantly moving through time and space, and the universe is utilizing our resonance field as the method to arrive at the destination of co-creation. If we sit still and do nothing, things would generally repeat themselves. We're here to organically evolve to a higher capacity of co-creating reality. Our eyes and ears and our brain is a function of the universe looking out at itself. And in admiration, if you manage to look at the world in admiration, raising your vibration and co-creating then the ascension expression to higher and higher forms, to whatever your potential is here for to do. So if you ask your negative emotions, what do you really want? And I'm going to walk you through this in a minute, in a little bit. Then you can get an answer that is tangible and emotionally impactful to the universe. Yes, I knew I wanted to arrive at the airport or I wanted to arrive at the seminar, and therefore thought I needed to arrive at the airport in order to get to the plane. But really what I needed is to be there, right? But knowing something and feeling the feeling, how it would feel if I arrived there, are 2 different shoes. So we need to unify them. We need to feel the results. And that is difficult if inside of me I still am feeling that negative sensation. Whether it's I'm upset at my bosses, at my coworkers, at my husband, at my children, all these feelings are just saying, I want fulfillment. And you need to dive in for a moment and find out what that would feel like. Taking a mini vacation away from the problem and allowing yourself to blossom and to anticipate what it would feel like. But by asking the negative, you make it your collaborator. You no longer push against it, but you get it to show you the way. And you infuse your new direction with energy from within itself. Not fighting it and saying, don't bother me, negative emotions, I want to be more this. It's like, yes, what do you want? And it shows you. And it becomes an organic composting station where you then have the sunflowers blossoming out of the previous compost of your choice. So I asked what it wanted. It wanted to be there on time. I got the feeling. And then I assumed that the universe would rearrange everything as need be. We landed, the universe, I actually figured we'd land in Washington, D.C. because I have expected to see miracles like this. We landed and they said, welcome in Baltimore. And I'm like, the doctor next to me, see, it's going to be like I said it would be. And I'm like, oh no. So I closed my eyes and I said, no, I did something wrong. And I actually had congratulated Don before we landed and said, we're in Washington. So I communicated with the universe and God and I said, look, unless I or others have to be here, would it be okay if we just we're in Washington right now? And this is the moment, and I'm sharing this story with you, and yes, Jack Canfield, I think, liked that impactful dare to dream beyond the possible. Expect a miracle. Remember that. And be aware of what that would feel like. I closed my eyes again and I said, is there any chance that we can stop this waste of energy unless I or others have to be here? Can we let this be Washington, D.C.? You know, it is in moments of need that you can apply this strong miracle command center in you, but you can apply it every part of your day. Live in your fulfillment of your heaven on earth, that you're capable of dreaming. And be sure you ask yourself. I was looking in my book earlier. I had written down my New Year's vision, and review what you write down, or write down visions of what you want to evolve. Greater ability to love, gratitude, greater relationships, greater spirituality, whatever you want. But then revisit and see if you're staying on track. So I closed my eyes and said to this feeling, thank you so much, and I'm sorry, where was I wrong? And it said, you congratulated yourself. Some people use credit cards before they have the money in hand to buy something. You congratulated yourself and Dawn before you actually arrived at the destination of your choice. So I said, I'm so sorry. And I think this is an important aspect. When things aren't going right in our lives, let us ask, what am I feeling? And how am I contributing to the situation? What do I need to learn? So in this case, I said, I'm sorry, I got it. I have to really be in my future fulfilled. And I reinvented my experience and entered that space of, okay, I'm arriving at my desired situation without having to think this and this and this has to happen. I'm just right there. And when I felt it in the back of my spine, when I felt it sing in all my cells, I ask you to remember this. This is how you know that you can arrive in the true blueprint of the future, is when all your cells say yes. When all of your heart and soul says yes. The announcement came and said, oh, I'm sorry, we were just informed that we have landed in Washington, Dulles. All of the people were like, yay! We got out, we got our airplane, we arrived on time at our seminar. The piggy bank story, my redirecting my flight in my universe story, are two stories to show you we live in an interactive, consciousness interactive universe. Every single minute the universe is listening to all of your thoughts, your subconscious thoughts, your thoughts from your imprints from past lives, your thoughts and belief systems your family helped you develop, and whatever you are now is the matrix that resonates and draws towards it fittingly everything that is in resonance with you. Now, how to make a change? If you find that you're challenged in a situation where things aren't going that well, or you go like, my God, I'd like to express more of my beauty. I know I'm a capable being. You can take time and follow the guided meditation that I'm going to walk you through, and that you easily can probably recall. I'm going to summarize it in 4 words. I like to say 3. It's stop, look, choose. Stop what you're doing, go internal, look and feel what you're feeling. Communicate with that feeling. And then ask that what it would be like if it had the fulfillment, and then take it into its fulfillment and let it become that. And then merge the two, the old and the new, becoming one. So fundamentally, in this process I'm going to go through with you, where you can choose something and immediately feel a change in your emotional body. But then, I know from experience, it can create miracles in your life. You can see the changes shift through your entire time-space fabric of your reality. And you can reinvent aspects of yourself anew to where you start shining more of your light and more of your love. Because that ultimately is what we are here for. To function as the vessel, as the diamond of consciousness, to be the vehicle, the bridge between the unmanifest, the divine, the supra-consciousness, and the individuated lens of consciousness that interacts. And ultimately for us to remember it is God looking at God, remembering itself and exploring itself. So here is one mouth of God teaching the other side and co-creating a web of consciousness where we are interactively awakening the greater fabric of that which is divine, discovering itself. And in the moment of us connecting, there is a moment where the divine becomes present and is all that there is. Where we are connected at the source, and it's the one and the same, looking at each other. And that's where the beginning of love evolves. It's the two touching into one, whether it's in your soul-filled relationship or in your internal process between the negative and the emotion and the positive emotion becoming unified and expressing itself at its higher octave. At that moment, an energy is released. An energy of a higher dimension opens its doors and fills the matrix of your consciousness, fills the blueprint of your dreams, and says yes to you, and says yes to that which you're asking to be filled. So taking time to listen to that which may appear negative is rewarding, because it's the foundation, the fertile soil, which gives the power and fire and the desire for the expression of your next step of your evolution. So use all your negative emotions, your fears, your burdens, your sense of I can't do this, and go, yes, I found something. And dip your cup in the quantum foam of co-creation. And I'll be guiding you on this inner journey. For now, just remember, stop, look, choose. At the end of the session, I'll give you a shortened mini version of it that you can do any time of the day, even with eyes open, to co-create and recreate a situation. For one, before we get started, I want to remind us of the wonderful talk that Baba gave. And when she said, the negative emotions, remember she had that workshop, and it's like looking at the parts of us that have negative thoughts about ourselves or about others, gossiping or self-doubt. All these are there in all of us. Any time of the day I can run into something and feel it. And as soon as we start listening to it, we open and unravel the knot that has developed. It's all just waiting to be listened to and to be loved, to be appreciated. And I'll guide you through that, unraveling and becoming a potential. This work is based on the work that I've taught on all continents on the world, to all creeds and colors. There is no difference in how we operate as humans. We may have a different imagination of what God we believe in or not, or what our ancestors said or not. But ultimately, our subconscious, conscious, and superconscious all work in concert. And when we are aligned and our subconscious is opening up its arms to the heavens, and we create a matrix that the light of the divine can shine through, that is beautiful, then you become this shining diamond. You become more and more capable of resonating with love. And the finer you shine and the more you clean up, the faster your consciousness will manifest around you. The things or the being, the reflection of who you are inside. So whatever you see outside is a beautiful reflection, so we should never point our fingers or complain about the world out there, because it's always three fingers pointing back. Instead, I'm going to guide it. you inward now and discover something, you can help yourself or others to unravel reality. All right, are you ready? I'd like you to just take a comfortable position, and maybe when you're seated, just stay upright. Some people say, can I lay down? I am suggesting if you can, stay comfortably seated, because we will drop in our brainwave states to access our internal consciousness. And that takes us into the alpha, sometimes into the theta brainwaves, and we want to stay awake for this process. I am not able to see your answers. Normally in a group session I would be looking for hand signs, or if I, in a seminar, if we physically were meeting, or if I had a client one-on-one. But I'm going to give you time to discover the answer and then move forward, okay? All right. So you can close your eyes, and I would like to ask you to start with a yogic breath. It is like closing one nostril with one finger and breathing through one nostril, breathing bright light into your third eye, into your inner mind, shifting your finger, and then breathing out through the other nostril. And the easiest is if you choose a number, let's say 5 or 7 or 4. Breathe in on the count of 4. If you do it slowly, and hold that breath. And exhale for the same count. Now hold the breath at the bottom, and then breathe in on the same count. Hold that light internally, let it flood through all your cells. Follow your own rhythm right now for a minute. This is a great preparation to go inward. And you can lay your hands into your lap, keeping your eyes closed. Go in your inner mind to a beautiful, peaceful place that you may know from nature, or you can make a place up in your mind right now. And as you enter your beautiful, peaceful place, I'd like you to just feel the ground beneath your feet touching the ground. And looking around and feeling the colors, the sights surrounding you. Just look around. And let the energy be even more brilliant in your place of peace than it already is. As you bring the energy up a notch and make it even more vibrant, feeling brilliant, just notice yourself settling in. Now I'd like you to think of something that maybe is bothering you, burdening you, that has happened recently or this week, or maybe it's something you can recall. It can be something small, something large, whatever it is. I'd like you to just take a moment to pick something that you would like to work on. that you would like to transform. There's something that is still nagging. And as you feel into yourself, make a choice which issue it is that you would like to address. Maybe it's something that you'd like to improve in, or something where you're uncomfortable. And as you start thinking about this area or this event or this experience or this feeling, this thought, describe to yourself first in words what it is that you're dealing with. It's a mental concept, or just describing it. And now, as you think about it, I'd like you to become aware of your feelings. And how do you feel as you think about it? Maybe you rerun a particular scene where something happened, or you just become aware of the issue itself and start noticing all the feelings that come up inside you, or the feelings in your body as you think about this issue. And you might notice a different area in your body feeling heavy. It might be in your tummy, it might be in your shoulders, it might be all over you, it might be in your heart or in your throat. Just notice where in your body you have the strongest feelings when you're thinking about this issue. And pick the area where you have the strongest feelings. You might have different areas having feelings, but pick the one where the feeling is the strongest for now. And just notice if that feeling is more in the front of that part in your body or deeper inside. And as you do, you may have thoughts, words that come up, or that you were told, or that you tell yourself that come up. Just notice all your thoughts that come up alongside with these feelings. And notice if this feeling is larger than that area of your body or smaller. And if this feeling had a weight, would it be heavy? Would it be light? If it had a structure, a composition, would it be solid or amorphous, fluffy, or would it be moving energy, or would it be like stone or steel? If it had a color, what color would this feeling energy structure have? And I'd like you to take this energy configuration outside of you, as if you could take it and put it in front of you, so that you could look at it from the outside. And just notice, is it bigger or smaller now? And can you ask that energy what it's been doing for you? Now, mind you, this doesn't have to be anything positive. It can be just silly, and whatever it was doing. What was that? What has it been doing? And it may have just been wanting to make a lot of noise, or be keeping you down, or whatever. I'd like to ask you now to ask this energy configuration, what does it really want? If it could have what it really wanted, what would that be? If it could have its wildest dreams manifest and express, what does it really want? For a moment, I'd like you to go along with the message of what it truly wants. And usually this is like a quantum jump away from where it was. Like, wow, really? Oh my God, that's what you wanted? Allow yourself to imagine what that would be like if that was already happening, if it already had that wish fulfilled. And allow yourself to feel the feeling. Enter into that fulfilled wish for a moment. Allow yourself the luxury of completely being inside that wish fulfilled. And enter that state and imagine what it would be like, feel like, in all of yourselves for a moment. Entering that wish fulfilled. How would that express itself and feel like for you? And we will return to the old feeling in a moment. But for a moment, I'd like you to just take a seat in that feeling. and make it even more brilliant. Allow yourself to really get for a moment this fulfillment and the feeling associated with it. Is there a color that comes along with this fulfilled feeling? And maybe there is a symbol or a form that goes along with this color, or something that could express this feeling. And allow yourself to feel that image, that feeling, those colors, the shape, form, symbol, whatever it is, as one nutshell experience for a moment. And as you realize that this is the deeper wish fulfilled of that old energy that we started out with, can you turn your awareness to the old energy for a moment? And can you thank it, appreciate it for having indeed such a positive, deep desire of something so beautiful? Can you thank it? It tried in its own way, usually limited way, of eventually hoping to get to where it really wanted to go, usually in a not so productive way. So can you thank it for having truly wanted something so beautiful? And as you thank it, can you ask it if it is willing to become that fulfillment that it had already always wanted? Can you ask it if it is willing to become transformed and absorbed into its new energy form, the form that expresses its deepest wish fulfilled? And when it is, and it usually is, if you've gone to understand its depths of wish, then go ahead and let it become absorbed. Introduce the two and let the old energy form be absorbed by the new energy form. Let all of the old energies transform and be absorbed into the new expression of what it always really wanted. Let all fibers of the previous energy, of the previous form and color, be absorbed into this new image, into the new expression of its deepest desire fulfilled, until all of itself can be expressed in this new form. And I'd like you to let this energy be there for you and touch all of your cells. And ask it if it is always willing to be there for you. And are you also always willing to be there for it? This new energy to guide you, to be with you, co-creating your reality, to express this beautiful energy in your life. Go ahead and let that touch all of your cells and heal all past memories or past imprints that have to do with the old energy, old belief. Let all the cells be touched by this new informational, holographically active, dynamic energy form that's now co-creating the fulfillment in your daily life. Let all the cells be transformed and healed by this new energy. Going back through time, as far back as need be, to heal and transform all old imprints. If this energy had one sentence or one principle it expressed or one concept that it stands for, what would that one principle, the energy that it stands for, the one sentence be? And I'd like you to take this image, this holographically active dynamic energy form, into your place of peace, and I'd like to have you create a place of meeting for all mature images, maybe now that you've created this one, and call your higher self or an inner master being to that meeting space. Like having one CEO table for all your conscious parts of you, co-creating reality with you, where the council is being held. And introduce this image to your higher self. And then I'd like to have you ask this energy if there is something that you could do in your daily life to express this, to do something for it, like a task that this inner holographic energy picture image gives you, a task for you. What would that be? Go ahead and communicate with it and ask it what it would like of you. Are you willing to do that? And do you have a task for it, something that you would like it to do for you? And when you're ready to live with this energy in your daily life and let it guide your life, let it go to your place of peace and be there and work with you 24/7. That means 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, day in, day out, whether you are aware of it or not. Let it guide you and transform your daily actions, your memories, your feelings within yourself to express this new energy in your daily life. Becoming a daily vehicle, and if you can, take time every morning to go into your inner place of peace and to communicate with your inner soul self and bring in this new energy, this holographic, dynamically active energy field, and become part of it again and activate it within. Communicate with it on a daily basis. You will start seeing changes in your life. Things will automatically readjust themselves. Desires will come up within you that express this beautiful energy to become a part of your daily routine, your daily life. And whenever you're willing to experience this, you can start taking a deeper breath and imagine how this energy is walking forward into your daily life, coming with you into your daily action, how tomorrow will unfold and bring this form as a natural routine into your life. Your new you. Breathing in deeper, wiggling with your fingers, stretching your arms and legs. Opening your eyes. And since this is a recording, you could take a moment to write down something right now. Write down a couple symbols, words, feelings that you remember. Or you can do it after we're done with this session. I will be joining you live after the completion of this evening at 11 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So I hope you will be there and you have questions and answers. And you can ask me whatever it is that you would like to know, how to work with this energy in your daily life and how to create miracles, and or why this even is working. I'd like to summarize it for you. So I remember I said I will make a short exercise with you. And with your eyes slightly open maybe right now, I'd like you to go through another exercise, and we'll shorten it to 3 words. So you can do it wherever you are. And sometimes we sit in a car, and like I wrote this up in my book, Wisdom of the Dolphins. Don and I were driving in Santa Fe, and we were trying to be in a town, and we had to leave in the morning to meet a friend, and he was going to be at a specific time at the side of the road. And our host was, measuring our brainwave states and told us out of which quadrant of the universe we came from, because he could tell that different meditations tighten different muscles, and depending on the muscles that you activated, it actually, he could measure, reflected the star system you most likely came from recently. At any rate, it was very fascinating, but we left a little bit late, so we were sitting in the car, and we're like, our friend from Boulder is going to meet us, and he is going to just be on the side of the road past this restaurant in this parking lot. And, this was in 1988, I think it was. No cell phone, no texting, no nothing. So we're driving, and I'm like going, oh, God, I'm so upset. We're late, and we're not going to make it in half an hour. And so I did this 3-step thing. I said, okay, stop. What am I doing? We're driving. I was in the passenger seat, right? But Don and I were like talking about it, going, let's do this. Stop. What we're doing, we're becoming aware of the feeling inside, the turmoil, the issue. Taking a step out of the movie we're in, right? So the moment you step out, you have 2. You are the observer, and you have whatever is going on in the film that is looking just like a film. So step out and go, I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm hurt, I'm anxious. Okay. Take a look. Okay, I'm taking a look. I'm becoming aware of what's going on inside of myself as an emotional, spiritual being, as well as what the film is looking like. So I'm distancing myself a little bit and allow the awareness of soul to come in. the moment we disentangle for a little bit, we can take inspiration from a higher dimension and go, what is it that I need? Okay. Oh, what do you want? Stop, look, choose. What do you really want? We want to be there on time. We want to meet our friend. Oh, okay. Look, choose. Choosing means be there now. Be here now. Be here in that moment now, in that fulfillment. Okay, we're meeting our friend. We're meeting him. We're right there. Stop, look, choose. Stop, step out. Look, feel, become aware. I'm upset. I'm angry. I'm hurt. Okay, choose. I want to be there. Okay. Feel it. And then let go. Let God do the work. All right, so we're driving. We're arriving. He's like, guy was right there on the side of the road. It had only taken half an hour, and where we had, when we had left to when we were supposed to arrive, had shrunk time. I can't tell you the stories. It was written all up. It was like we did a hyper jump. We met our friend on time. And another story, also where I did some time jumps with my husband, driving in a train in Germany, being 40 minutes late, became a complete time jump. Time jumps are possible when we have a need. And other people who've read the book and became aware of the connection between consciousness and dreaming our reality into being realize that we are the master dreamers. So arriving on time, we arrived right there we had to be and met our friend. Stop, look, choose. So I'd like you to do this with me, if you'd like, for a moment. Pick a problem, a small one or a large one, whatever you want. Just think of something. Close your eyes again. And I'm doing this in a little bit of a more awake state, because we don't always have time to go into deep trance states like we just did. So, all right, think of an issue, think of a problem. And as you become aware of what that is, just take a look at the movie scene of your life pertaining to this issue. Okay, you're noticing, now you stop the movie, you're stepping out, you're going, oh, okay, what am I feeling? You're noticing the situation, the feelings that are surrounding it. Taking a look at all your feelings, thoughts. And then you go, okay, what do I really want? Look, choose what you really want. And you just enter that fulfillment for a moment. Enter the party of your choice. Enter the fulfillment, the illumination of your internal states. Becoming aware of what you really want. Feel it. Feel it. Feel all your cells, the back of your spine, every part of you. Enter that fulfillment for a moment. And this is actually a technique we teach in the very first part of the course, Living from Vision, where we take 5 weeks to practice manifesting skills. And Living from Vision is a technique that was developed by Dr. Rod Newton, and Dr. Vern Wolf and Dr. Rod Newton came together, worked together, so I became a master teacher in both and have been doing this since 1988-89. And just this Stop, Look, Choose was a miniature version of the longer process we did earlier. And if you notice, you can open your eyes again, you can feel, recall it. Just had a fulfilled feeling where you really want to be. What we need to do is shift from the state of focusing on where we don't want to be to the state of where we wish to be, and making it a habit of shifting into fulfillment, of becoming the vibration, the matrix, the hologram of where we want to go. But also often our brain is occupied with and trained to recognize difficulties and gets a little stuck on that, like a little meow, meow, and repeats the thought about what isn't working. Whether it's self-loathing or loathing of others or blaming the world around us, remember, it always points back to us. So when you can take a moment to say, okay, what am I feeling? And is there a message? And where do I really want to go? You refocus on where you are aiming at and take the problem as your jumping point to get you into the fulfillment so you can celebrate the negativity. Embedded in negativity is the seed for the evolution to the next step. The same holds true when you choose goals and fulfillment in part of your life. You say, I wish to express this. I wish to become this. It exercises your master muscles of co-creating. But it's like a carrot that your sub-level or your supraconscious levels conjure up to get you to make that extra evolutionary step to become a larger vessel of consciousness, a more bigger purified diamond that eventually can hold larger spaces of being the co-creator and identifying as being one with the source. Eventually, we learn the trick that there is only one watching. But in this entertainment show of you and I looking, the same lens of consciousness is looking at each other. The same isness is becoming you and me. And it's like, wow, thanks for telling me that trick. That's awesome. And you and I each become a resonant pattern to then open up for the field of the greater isness to discover itself, to become expressed, and to become seen. And ultimately, a love affair between the seer and the seen, and the act of seeing opens up to something unfathomable to our logical mind. The field effect of isness. The love affair of the divine with itself in form. And it's this journey where I invite you on to become a conscious dreamer and utilize your consciousness, not just to become placated and say, yeah, it's all there. It's more like life is celebrating, making butterflies and roses, and you and me and all of us are an expression of that beauty. And so it is our duty to make the most beautiful fractal reflection diamond that we can be, so that the universe gets to express itself in all its potential fractalities. So I invite you on this journey. Remember the 3 words: stop, look, choose. And redirect your gaze always towards the fulfillment and give God, the divinity, the blueprint of your fulfillment. Whether it starts out with a problem or it starts out with a vision of where you want to go. Surely, I've had plenty of people who say, I want to write a book, I want to become an author, I want to, rescue the world, or I want to have $1 million. It all starts with not being there, and how we get there is the journey that needs to uncover what is currently holding us here. There's something inside of us that believes this is normal, or this is what we wish to be normal. And when we get to the source that says, okay, and where do you want to evolve to, and what would that be? It takes us on an evolutionary journey of expanding our capacity to become a clear vessel. And in giving back, and this is the title of the summit, I want to leave you with this thought, that our way on a daily form of giving back is being aware that we are in a form of an ascending, and I would say a cross. We're in the middle of the cross of reality. The part of you that connects to the source, and the part of you that connects to the outside, the past and the future. Time, space, and infinity is centered here in this core of your being, and your conscious being that pulsates through your heart, your actions, and your consciousness. And when we look at reality and we say, thank you, something ripples. Actually, our DNA starts unfurling. In love, in appreciation, our DNA that can be more contracted opens up and opens the spirals. And they found out in research that when we radiate gratitude, it's our way of paying backward to the divine. It's going, yes, headquarters, it's working. I'm grateful. Thank you. Look at the beauty. Look at the flowers. Look at the light. Look at the gifts. Look at what I am given. Thank you. Is our way of paying back to God, the divine that gives us the very pulse of beingness. And I invite you to pay back as often as you can to the universe with gratitude, because gratitude will raise your vibration. And in gratitude, you are a contributing factor to life and to the divine. And the channel will become greater and greater. If you're finding it difficult to be grateful for bigger things, start with small things. The sun ray that just hit the flower, the dewdrop that you saw, the cup of tea you were able to drink, the fingers that are working, whatever it is. Gratitude will pulsate in the here and now and engage more current into your vision. And so stop, look, choose, and paying it forward through gratitude. And I want to end this by being in gratitude to Ramana's garden, to all the children that dare to dream, that I've gotten to know over many years and had the opportunity of accompanying and helping here and there, giving a helping hand with some projects, to Dwaba, who unrelentlessly dreams big and makes it all happen for all of these children. And being the spearhead and says, who said it can't be done? It will be done. And it's like, God help me, this will happen. And these children are blossoming. So hopefully you also have a way of giving back to this community, Ramana's Garden, who's made it possible for us to have a collective come together, radiate, shine. I'm doing my part. I'm giving back to Ramana's Garden. I'm currently also maintaining 36 employees here in Bali through the lockdown on salary, so we can all eat and live. Do what you can. It's always the one in front of you that you can help. And it's doing what we can, but the biggest way to give back to God is by being grateful and being the eyes for beauty and the hands for goodness. Namaste. Thank you for being part of this, and I'm very much looking forward to meeting you today at whatever the time zones that you've been sent to. It's 11 p.m. Indian Standard Time. That I will be answering questions live and being with you and maybe walking through some pair chair or exercises, whatever we can come up with. Thank you for having been here. I send you my love. Namaste.